Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and I'm here today with another sample library from Westwood. This is Novella Origin. It's a collection of instruments, a great string ensemble, a seven-piece string ensemble, including upright bass, everything else. Altos, the collection of sort of folky altos, great dusty piano, electric guitar, drum kits with, kind of like weird beaters and bamboo sticks in a terrific sounding room. A beautifully extensively sampled old Prophet 5, that analog synth that we can use for pads. This instrument is like a collection of players that you'd put together for a movie in your mind. It's a storytelling engine, and the programming and sort of curation of sounds lends itself to it being kind of like just a one-stop template library for writing to picture or theater or independent songwriting arranging. Let's listen. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're getting something out of it, maybe this is the second or third video of mine you've seen, now's the time to subscribe. We're doing music theory and some occasional library reviews here. It kind of aimed at just, a musician who wants to express the specifics, the detailed truth about who they are as an instrumentalist, as a composer. I hope this is music theory for everyone. My question whenever I'm sitting down to work with a new library is, can I make music out of it? So to that end, I've made a little piece. We'll hear kind of a little bit of everything, although there's one special sort of like a chestnut built into this library, which I didn't include in this piece, and we'll get to immediately after we listen to this. This is a minute and change long. So we've got the full kind of gamut of stuff, and I'll just roll it, yeah. I'll tell you what, that Prophet 5 sounds great there, doesn't it? So you heard a bunch of the instruments there, and let's just sort of pick it apart, right? We'll take a look at the interface for the instrument. So it installs at about 38 gigabytes, and it's because this is an extensive library, and yet I gotta say it's pretty efficient considering everything that's here. Here are the instruments. The Willow Ensemble is like a sketching ensemble for strings, and it's what we're looking at here. And we'll look at those key switches in a moment. You've got splits of the sections, including violins, violas, cellos, and double bass. Now, the foils is a choir, an interesting choir of like folk inflected altos, these 4 or 5 women singing together, and you've got conventional oohs and ahs with control over vowels, as well as some unusual expressive, kind of like the Untamed series where you can hear chattering or like other kinds of vocalizations. And I'll tell you what, it's a great sounding library. These singers obviously work together a lot. A decently sampled electric guitar with sustains and muted plucks, repetitive picking that's kind of irregular to create texture. Then we have this. We'll play briefly all of these. An upright piano that is, there's a conventional style one, and then there's a kind of a cotton, linen, hammered, felted type instruments that's pretty dusty sounding. And it's the one that I used. Wanderlust is a bunch of synth patches from a Prophet, and then not a bad drum kit. And the drum kit feels like it's right in the space with everybody else. It's kind of a bamboo beater type drum kit, and includes, and thank you so much for this, some great cymbal swells. It's great to have cymbal swells right there available in the library. So take a look at the Willow Ensemble. You've got an unusual thing here, which I got to say is just terrific. When I select ensemble chords, I've got 3 different octaves, blue, purple, and red, of different chord types. And the selection down here and here, if I hover my cursor over this D, you can see it. Look down here. You're not going to see it but now it'll be there. You'll see that version of the chord is major, then a sus2. These are all majors, major 6, major 7, major 9. And then the black keys are minor versions of it. So the net result of that is I can select a chord type, major or minor, plus some extensions, major 9, major 7, major 6, sus2, and just play a single note to get that. So I'm going to select, select the D down here and then play a D major. Let's hear the D sus2. Let's hear a D major 7, or major 6, sorry. There's the major 7. There's the major 9. I sort of would have liked a dominant chord, I have to say, but we don't get one. Sorry. Of course, we have minor chords as well. So here's a straight minor. There's a minor 6, B minor 6. So that's an interesting chord because it's a pivot type chord. You could use it for other things. Minor 7, minor 9. Cool. Now, each of these ranges, the blue, purple, and red ranges, give us different results. So let's stay with that minor 9 chord. There's the high voicing of it. You hear lower octave, higher octave, and then spread out, low and high. It's very big. We could also play them together, or all together, like very, very thick. And of course, you got slider control. Your mod wheel controls expressivity and volume and stuff like that. All right, I'm going to change the way this looks here because I want to drop down and look at the rest of the GUI. So I just mentioned you have expressive control on sliders, and, like so. I happen to have one of these little Korg dinguses, but super useful. I'm going to be using probably mostly dynamic control. Now, what makes this library sound terrific is you've got a ton of mic positions. And right now we're just listening to a mix, but if I wanted to, I could turn the mix off and go directly just to close mics, and we're going to get a very different effect. It's right there, and then way up at the top in the gallery. We can mix those together if we'd like. Less close, more gallery, very Halloween-y. Can I play chords together? I sure can. Nice, right? And just as we go on, of course, we have a sketching type environments. Let's go back to just our mix. You hear the little details in the bowing and how notes are expressed. It's a beautiful stereo picture as well, isn't it? Do you hear how I hold this? I've got a left side and then... It's a beautiful stereo spread. We've got arco flautando, that's a quick light bowing that Spitfire's made rather famous. Sul Ponticello over the bridge. And spiccato, which is a nice sort of chunky, kind of super useful songwriter tool. Right? So much fun. Listen, a few of the other instruments. Here we go. individual violins, look, I've got control over the legato speed as well as dynamics. So quick legato speed, I can play a fairly fast run. So cool. Listen to this random bowed flautando. Oh, it tells a story in just a great way. They've actually grabbed picks to play as well. It sounds kind of like a Bartok pizzicato in a way. Maybe a Johnny Greenwood effect. Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. And we've got exactly all of these. I mean, I'm not going to go into them, but if you want to hear every little thing, head over to the Westwood site because there's an extensive, like it takes an hour to get through all this stuff. We've got the same kinds of things on the violas, the same things on the cellos. And these cellos are wonderfully recorded. Listen, the vivid legato, right? Wow. So little harmonics popping out there. So cool. It's unusual to get double basses with all these effects. The spiccato bass is great. Let's listen to just the close mic version of it. You're usually putting your head right up against it. It's a lot of fun. Let's go on. So check out this choir because I got to say, there's a couple of really wonderful things about that. And then there's something that I wish was different. I'll show you what I mean. So we've got a variety of articulations, improvs, ah to oo, right? Vowel sounds changing. To ah, which is super useful for swells, right? To oo. And then the chatters, some short things, which are and O's. And just some beautiful things here. But listen, what we're going to do most often is something like, a vocal swell. So this slider is controlling the vowel sound. We'll go from an ah up to an oo. Very pretty, right? It'd be nice for me if it was the opposite, if it went from oo to ah. I don't, because I want to get louder as I go to the ah. In other words, I want to start with a closed vowel and go to an open vowel. I know that this was just a choice that was made, but I sort of wish it was the opposite. I suppose I could do something like cross my fingers like this. I guess it's not impossible. It's doable. Listen, you can have two things at once. So we get chatters and this. Now listen to the chatters. That's fun, right? And we've got individual volume control over that if we like as well as a kind of the attack time. A slightly slower attack time wouldn't be bad if I wanted to layer the two things together, and I do. That is a killer vocal texture. It's a pretty decent electric guitar. Including a pretty cool thumb mute. And harmonics. So the unmeasured pick and thumb is interesting. It's kind of like a little rumble, might be useful for something, and then the thumb is a little, maybe perhaps more useful. It sounds like me fumbling around when I'm playing guitar. How about the noises? What are they like? Just what you'd expect, guitar noises. So 3 different pianos, including just like a regular old piano. We've got a mix over here and a whole bunch of mic positions. Listen, key noise, string noise, pedal noise. The pedal noise is insane. Listen, it's so loud. That's too loud for me. Way too loud. I like having pedal noise, but good golly, Miss Molly. So here's our piano. Pedal down the whole time. Little sort of humming in the background is kind of beautiful. That's actually quite lovely. Let's go to close. Oh yeah. Sort of a version of To Feel My Love. And then the dust piano, which is, super fun. You hear it's a little bit dirty, a little bit, there's noise in there. Nah, I like it. That's a cool sounding piano. Super useful. Songwriter piano, right? Or ensemble piano, supporting another lead instrument. It's not going to get in the way. Gives you a little bit of bass. Boom. Tons of synth. So look at it. 1, 2, 3. Each of these is a patch. You've got LFOs controlling pitch, things like that. Some of these are quite lovely. Out of time. Volume LFO. The depth down. Let's assign something to the filter. Not bad. The resonance is a little bit high, but it's awful pretty. What's left? Drums, of course. And we've got, in the drums, we've got, like, basically this is that bundle of bamboo, the sticks that drummers will, use sometime to sort of mute the sound of the individual stick hitting. And it's a pretty good sounding kit. You hear kind of a lot of room in the basic mix, which I don't mind. That's a lot of room. And you've got tons of control, though. There's the mix, and you can see individual mic positions include close, room, gallery, overhead, and then the compressor, which is like tons of fun. We could probably like bring the compressor up for a little New York thing. On the kick drum, I'd rather see kick than bass. That's confusing to my brain. Snare, tom, hi-hats, the ride cymbals, and then overheads. And I was playing around with this, and I wound up using kind of like the overheads as a room mic in my mix, and just some spot mics for the individual kits. That was sort of the sound that I liked the best. Gave me kind of a Tom Waits drum sound. And then the whole thing cycles around again. I've been a fan of Westwood for some time. One of their pianos is one of my go-tos. The Untamed series in winds, strings, and horns is unbelievably useful for sort of nuanced, expressive, um, subtle, quirky instrumental sounds, which are at the same time still tonal. You can use them as part of your tonal resources. One of the challenges of using sample libraries for scoring to picture is telling a story that is complicated, that isn't kind of straightforward and reduced to game music, right? It's not just a single feeling, it's a complicated feeling. Complicated feelings are hard to get out of cans. And part of the problem with a library is it's to some degree canned. When you have a player in front of you, there's an interaction. You can speak about what's happening, look at the picture, talk about the story, get nuance. And nuance is the name of the game with these Westwood libraries. That's why I like them. Listen, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe and ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos, and I'll see you next time.